Hello everybody. Welcome to your weekly messages for August 9th to the 15th of 2020. This is good for all signs. And go ahead, take a moment to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. You will get more wonderful readings from me. And make sure you check out my newsletter. I send good things to you in your inbox. You get even more magic in there and more content and updates from me as well. Check me out on Instagram at Onyx Healing. And let's go ahead and dive into this reading. Now, I'm going to start with the Affirmators Love and Relationships card. So just keep in mind, relationships, we're using that loosely here. So whatever relationships are important for you to maintain, this will apply to them. Commitment. I willingly accept that it's safe to topple my walls and commit completely to a relationship. It might be one that's already here or one that's on the way. Either way, those walls have got to go. Without them, I can go further, feel freer, and love bigger than ever before. Bonus, no walls means I'll save a lot of money on picture frames. So one interesting thing, and I heard this from Allison Armstrong. If you don't know who she is, she's awesome. She's a relationship, I guess we could call her a relationship expert, but she talks about how commitment doesn't actually have anything to do with external labels. Commitment is more energetic. Like, commitment is a choice. It's an act of devotion moment by moment. And that's what this is reminding me of. So when it comes to commitment, think about this more in terms of act as if. Act as if in the process of you devoting and committing yourself, that is actually what you'll receive. Now, keep in mind, like, dysfunctional, deeply codependent, super wounded relationships, committing to that is more dangerous than anything else, right? Like, if it's inflicting harm, that is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the energy of, I am committed. I don't have to actually shield myself from doing things that are going to make me more vulnerable, reveal the truth of my heart, so on and so forth. Those acts of trust is a form of commitment. Choosing to be in an energy of devotion is a choice. It's an energy. So think about it that way. And even committing to projects, something that isn't necessarily a relationship, but just requires your commitment, your attention, and your devotion is an important part of this as well. Defend your tenderness. So this is your softness, like making sure that you're not just getting wrapped into calcification. Like, if a rupture happens, rather than just becoming hard and that piece freezing in time, knowing that you can still go deeper, you can still get softer, you can still be tender despite any rupture that might happen. And then let's see what Sovereign Oracle card we have. Vitality. Protect your energy, invite life-affirming relationships, honor your body's requests. Oh, release energy vampires. That was the second line there. Life-affirming relationships. So make sure that you are focused on feeling, like really pay attention to, are the people who are in your life, are they an expression or a reflection of what you actually desire and want to experience? How are your energy levels in the presence of that person, group, or people, whatever you have going on? And really make sure that anyone who is draining you, don't ignore that. Pay close attention to that. And remember, not everyone should or is going to resonate with you, and that's okay. I figured we could use some humor this week, so I have the, you'll see. It's the deck with all the commentary. Let's see what's going on. Ten of Swords. Okay, I'm only mostly dead, is what this says. Break down, release. And when you're thinking about release, make sure everyone is afraid of this being external. That's always what the fear is. My gut, my read on this is that it's something that already occurred with the full moon that we had on Monday. You already know what this is. You already know what has shifted out, what has to go, what you've cleaned. And so this is opening you up to bigger, better, more. It's just that this experience of having empty space or being in uncharted territory is really anxiety producing. The Ten of Swords is really encouraging you to trust that anything that's made its way out is going to be replaced with something better. And that includes parts of yourself and parts of your expression. Because the other thing with the Ten of Swords is there are also parts of ourselves that we have to release, that have to die away in order for us to access greater parts of ourselves, in order to access softness, vitality, tenderness, all of the things that we desire. You can't hold on to walls and things that have held you back and expect a different result. You have to let those parts die. And so the Ten of Swords is a natural part of the death and rebirth cycle that we experience however often. And then this is what you have shifting out. We have Noob of Crybabies. This is the Page of Cups. It says, I must be tripping again. And I'm just getting that you're actually leveling up in consciousness. So this is like the old way of doing things, the old way of being, the old emotions, old mindset, old perspective. And that makes sense with, again, all of the integration that's happening. It lasts for a while. That was a big one for a lot of people. It rocked a lot of people. And so you need to understand that all of the layers that you're shedding are old. It's like from young parts of yourself that were developed. And so that is what has to move out in order to welcome the new, the bigger, the better. So this can bring a lot of comfort, but it's also about reminding yourself that comfort and complacency are at a certain point going to hold you back. So if you've become complacent, this is saying, nope, you've got to move on. You have to move out of that complacency. You have to move out of the way you've always done things and shift into what you actually desire, what you actually want. Just because it kept you safe and secure once upon a time does not mean it's going to continue to do that. And then let's see what else. We have Temperance, and I'm reading this as the Oncoming Energy. And then, yeah, angels are here. Just watering down this vodka for your own good, you heathen. And it's like balance and equilibrium and things getting easier and better and flowing. It's going to stabilize. I think if you're feeling this week as though things are really uncertain and unstable and who knows how they could be, this is an indication that they are getting easier, they're flowing, they're shifting for the right reasons, and it's going to balance out. Just make sure you don't throw in the towel here and revert back to the Page of Cups. Don't go back into that. Make sure you keep evolving. Don't stop. Do not stop. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Let me pull another one really quick. Ace of Mind Bullets. Okay, Ace of Swords. I'm really seeing this as you not being, you don't need to be afraid of the unknown when you're actively creating. If you are deciding, if you take, and I know I talk about this a lot, if you take radical responsibility for everything in your life, not other people, but for what you experience and how the world is responding to you and the things that you're calling in and the relationships that you have and all of that stuff, if you just own all of it and empower yourself to create despite the things that might be present in your life, continue actively creating and working on the mental body. What you're thinking does matter, and how you're thinking really matters because it creates emotion. It has an emotional effect. So when you start harnessing the mind and using the unknown to your advantage is where you really get a lot of benefit. So this isn't something to fall into victimhood around. That is the danger. Anytime we step into the unknown, of course, old patterns and behaviors can cause us to shrink into victimhood if we allow it. But remind yourself that you're powerful and that you have the capacity to create. Give yourself the opportunity to do that this week. Don't look at this as something that you're just a victim of circumstance or whichever way the wind blows you. No. You can create and deal with the unexpected if that ever happens, right? When the unexpected happens, it doesn't have to knock you down every time. Create despite. And then we have the Emperor, and this is Daddy, as it says. Okay, what else do we have? Free weed and chocolate. Okay, so this is the Devil. It's like you're in charge. You're actually in charge. This is where empowerment really comes in. And you know how big I am on empowerment, right? The Emperor is you're in charge. You are in the driver's seat, and this is where responsibility is helpful. This is like confidence in your ability to create. It's when you get to the point where you take back the reins. That's what's happening this week. Like, be careful with stories about bad things keep happening, or I can't catch a break, or nothing is ever going to get better. Be really, really careful with that. That's always just a story that you're telling yourself. It's not a reflection of reality. And try to get back to a space where things can actually be in your favor. So the Devil is showing up to highlight and show old patterns, old behaviors, old things that you have the option to fall back into again. The practice of consciousness is taking back the reins, though. This is actually where things have the opportunity to get better. They have the opportunity to change and develop in whatever direction you want them to. You do have a lot more impact over how you're experiencing the world than you might realize. Creative energy is the only thing that you can really rely on. And if you're really grounded and actively creating, then you can trust what comes into your space. But if you listen to the old way of being, the old way of doing, the old, then you're going to recreate those patterns again and again. So by shattering that paradigm, releasing it completely, taking back the reins, and not falling into temptation of the old way of doing, but instead innovating in the unknown, is where you come into more harmony and equilibrium. And this is where things start to get easier, better, bolder, and just smoother in general. So you're actively creating this. If you want to have a smoother experience, it's available to you. That's the main thing. It's not about eliminating the negative side of the human experience. It's not about bypassing it or saying, oh, there's never going to be things that might inconvenience you or challenge you. That's not the case at all. This is about getting so solid in creating, deciding, and evolving that any of those inconveniences that may come up or any challenges, it suddenly becomes something that doesn't annihilate you. It's just something that you can evolve through and that you can navigate with more ease. That's the main thing, is the navigation process gets easier and easier as you go and as you develop. Anyway, let's do a 3-card pick. So ask a question, ask for guidance, clarity, support, whatever you're needing at this time. Okay, if you need more time, pause the video. Card number 1 is the Knave of Swords. It's okay for you to go out on a limb and take some risks. I'm getting that this is a time of exploration, and exploring the mental body is the main thing. Like, how else could you perceive it? How else could you think about it? invite new ways of thinking, because there's a call for you to do it differently. And the more you refine your thoughts, the better things are going to be. Card number 2, we have the Six of Wands. This is victory, a big fat yes, fast movement. The Six of Wands is full speed ahead. So enjoy this. Whatever the case may be, there's a need for you to act and strike while the iron is hot. Allow yourself to do that, because there's a lot of reward that comes from that. The victory card sitting right here is just reminding you that you're not going to mess it up. You're just not. So trust yourself. And then card number 3, we have the Three of Cups. This is celebration, harmony, friendship, having a good time, a reason to party. But this is definitely celebration energy. So it's like, let it be good. Let yourself enjoy what you have going on. Just be in the energy of how much you've already accomplished, how far you've already come, what you've already done. You get to kind of take a load off this week, or whatever you're talking about. It's like, relax. You're already doing it. It's already going well. Enjoy this process, or where you are in the moment. I know that when you're wanting more, that's not a bad thing. I would never tell you that wanting more is bad, because it's definitely not. But it's also about striving for more and receiving more, with being really present and grounded in loving where you are in the moment. And when you're able to balance those two things, life gets really good. All right, everybody, that's all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Make sure you subscribe, like this video, drop a comment if this resonates or if this helps you this week, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.